Buddy, this is actually take two of recording that I started that I actually stopped. So I had to go over everything I just went over, which is good because practice make perfect. So what I'm gonna go over is chapter two of the book. Um, Anybody wanted to know, the book is called Android Programming: The Big Nerd Ranch Guide. I have the first edition, and the first edition is only 3 years old. It uses Eclipse, not Android Studios. So if you're trying to, want to learn programming, or specifically Android programming, I should just get the second edition. I was just too cheap to buy the second edition. It was like 40, $50 on Amazon, and I got this for like 20. Really, actually, really 13, $20 altogether. So yeah, it was a cheap book. But I'm gonna go over chapter two, and we're gonna go over a concept in Android called Model View Controller. Now, Model View Controller is a concept that's, I guess, used a lot in Android development. Um, think of your model. If anybody's familiar with object-oriented programming, is your almost like your classes that you create that gonna hold your objects. Your objects are going to be anything from, uh, a attribute, for example, on a bike, or behavior. So yeah, your model view is going to be almost like your classes. Well, it's going to be your class. It's going to hold all of your data on your objects. Your controller, think of that as your engine. Your engine is going to input your it's going to take in your data or your model, and it's going to use that data for your app. And it's going to display on your view. And your view, this is where the user only sees. The user doesn't care what's going on in the back. All he knows or she knows is he just presses a button, she inputs data, she does all these things, and it just the app just works. So I'm going to be going over this concept. I'm going to also be doing a lot of copying and pasting of code, because a lot of the code is already written out that I have, and it's just going to be a lot. This the manually type this app. It's going to be like a 20-30 minute. I'm really trying to make this no more than 15 minutes. My first video was like two 20-minute videos, so I'm going to try to spare you guys a lot of the headache. I've been practicing a lot on this, trying to get it done. So I'm going to go ahead and do something very important. I'm going to create a class, which is going to be our model. And let me see if I can actually import my class. Yeah, it's going to keep this in a class. I'm going to call it true false. Now, normally you can actually import different classes, but I can't find my true or false class, so I'm just going to copy and paste what I already have. Actually, let me see if I might need this. Do this. Might need that package now. Yeah, I will need that package. Alright, so we have put a curly brace right here. Perfect. And we'll have to modify the XML, and we need to modify the view of the app. So I'm going to go to quiz activity, and we're going to pretty much do a lot of copy and pasting. So give me a few seconds, guys. Like I said, I'm still learning how to get everything done. And I don't know if you guys know, but copy and pasting in Android can be a pain. Don't know why, it's just is. So actually, let me do this. I'm gonna do the easy thing. I'm gonna go ahead and need our strings that we're going to be using. So I'm going to go back to our string XML, and I'm going to delete this hello world. I'm going to keep this chapter 2, and I'm going to keep this action setting. Are we going to keep the action setting? Actually, we're not going to keep the action setting. We're going to go ahead and delete it. So I'm just going to copy this. Action setting is going to go. I'm going to go ahead and fix a lot of this. Get this nice and neat for us. Okay. Hold on. That was going to be a little excessively long, but that's fine. This is only for a tutorial for us. Alright, and then we need to add our button. Let me see what this area is talking about. Element string is not closed. So which element string is that? Ah! Silly me. Let me go back to Africa. Like I said, this is the pain about copying and pasting code, because you end up just copying over something that you weren't supposed to copy. Matter of fact, let's do this. I'm going to open my original project. And I'm going to go to the GeoQuiz. Gradle. Actually, we need to go to File, Open Recent, GeoQuiz. We're going to do a new window, and it's going to help me get this done a lot quicker. Yeah, I apologize, guys, for not being a good tutorial, teaching you guys, but we'll learn together. And I'm going to go to string XML. Go to the string XML. Copy my original string XML over here. Copy. Paste. Perfect. And we actually are going to keep the action settings, so thank God I got that app. So I'm going to... Perfect. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to copy the XML file. The XML file is pretty much our view, which is very important because it's going to show the user interface. Without that, the user won't be able to click anything or interact with the app. So we're going to delete this, paste that, and bada boom, bada bing, we have our design. Make sure this comes up. If it doesn't show up, and this is something I noticed, for some apparent reason, API 23 Android 6.0 doesn't show up for review. I don't know why. I'm still trying to figure that out. Especially as they switch it over to Android 21 5.0, because then it renders the app. It's gonna take a second to load, and it will actually show the UI like here, and yeah, like that. So we'll go back to here. Don't worry, all the buttons are gonna look like they're supposed to be once we're done. And we're gonna go to, where we're gonna go to? We're gonna go to our true and false. That's perfect. And string XML. Okay, so let me explain some of the code. I'm not gonna write the quiz activity Java files yet. I'm gonna explain that later. So the first thing we want to do is we want to create a class for our true and false app. It's going to have a back and a next button. And the back and next button is going to allow us to go forward or backwards on our questions. And we're going to be able to answer true or false. And they're going to display on the text above right here. And, you know, here's our questions. Here's our UI. For example, it's going to be able to get a question, take the input if it's true and false, store in a question, or if it's a true question, it's going to be able to get it. It's going to be able to set it. It's going to be able to take the Boolean value. And it's going to be able to set the Boolean value. Actually, this is retrieve the Boolean value, and this is actually to set the Boolean value. And that's pretty simple, actually. That's a pretty simple app. So to get our app to the way we want it to be, we are going to copy some code right here. We're going to import our widget button and our text view. And like they're great right now, they're grayed out, but they will be used. And one more thing, we're going to import our array of questions and an index because because we have an array, we need an index to go through the array. So we're going to create a new class called true false, and we're gonna a new object called true and false, and a new object from the true and false class. It's going to be called mQuestionBank. I apologize. And we are going to go ahead and get our string values. And our string values, we're pulling our string values, because I don't know if you noticed, r-string question ocean, r-string question Middle East. Because you can store string objects in different areas of the app, like values. The way Android Studios I see, or how it works, is you can store your data in different areas of the app and retrieve it from your syntax. So all of this, you don't have to manually write this out or manually code this. You can just go to this file right here, create the string that you want, store it, and create the string, name the string, and then call it from the activity.java, or whatever you name your activity, your Java file, which is pretty cool because in Java you have to manually write it out, you got to manually call it. I mean, this keep things in separate containers, which I like. So after we do that, we need to create an update question object. Method. I'm sorry, update question method. So we're gonna go down here. We created our update question, and this is where we're gonna be able to update our question. We're gonna get the index, which is our counter right here, question bank, our method get question, and we're going to set it to the text, which is our mQuestion text value. It's going to be in this text file. It's going to show on the image. And then we're going to have a check answer method, and this check answer method is going to be able to check our answer. And we're going to have to import our toast object. I don't know if you remember that from our first video. You should probably check it out. And what you'll do is we're going to check the answer. We're going to insert a user pressed if it's true or not. And of course, once again, we're going to see if the question is true. We're going to have a message resource ID. Really not quite sure what it is, but the book told me to use it. Oops, excuse me. And we're going to see if this answer is true. If it's true, we're going to show a toast object, which we discussed in our first tutorial. If it's false, it's going to show a false toast. So those are our two important methods. Now the big important thing is to actually use those methods, and we have to put them on our onCreate method. Our onCreate method, creates. Think of the onCreate method as. And I'm gonna go over this in the next chapter. So I'm still trying to grasp the concept. It creates our code to be able to interact on our screen. That's the best way I can describe it. It's just it creates, not necessarily create, but it uses the code and creates it on the screen, and allows us to interact with our actual classes. So I'm gonna hit copy and paste. I'm gonna copy and paste the code, and I'm gonna go through the code line by line, and I hope you guys understand it. If you have any questions, please put in the comment section and I will explain it. Also, my blog will have the code as well, all the important code, as well about MVC as well. So I'm going to, give me just a second, need to make sure there's no more code. Actually, I feel like I wrote copy more code than I needed to. Alright, so let's do this. Oh, I know what's going on. Because there is more code. Alright, some of these codes are going to get closed in my other project, that's why. So let's begin from the top. So we create our text view. We have our text view equal to our syntax. We set our onClick listener, and remember, this is anonymous. Please go back to the first video to get understanding. And what's going to happen is we are going to get our first index, and we're going to go to our update question. And our update question, allows us to go through the next question. So, let's see here. This is the next button. This is the back button. Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, this is gonna only display on the text view. So the update question is for this particular update question is for the text view. So it's gonna update the text view from the update question method. Now this next one, these next two methods are true or false. This is going to actually check the answer. So after going through assigning those widgets to our syntax, it's going to see if this is true or false. So we have a true value and a false value in each button. And like I said, it's going to see if it's true. If it's true, it will show a true toast. If it's false, it's going to show a false toast. And the next two methods are going to be, it's going to show it's going to just be a next button, which is going to show the next question, or a back button. So, it's going to also use the update question. So after it updates the question on the button, it needs to also update itself on the onCreate. So the onCreate can actually, be created on our screen. So I'm actually not going to run this code because I don't want to have anything be broken or have to go over it. I'm going to run it on my other project that I had up because it took me a while to fix it and to run it. So I'm gonna run my emulator. Okay, hold on, guys. Run my emulator. No, emulator in just a second. Still running. Actually, I'm gonna run it right here. I'm gonna run our emulator right here. The way my recording is, I can't drag it over to the second screen. I don't know why. It starts. It's running, and then I'll run our project. As you can see, it's a pretty big screen. I got the resolution really, really high. And it's running, it's running, it's running, it's running. Perfect. So I'm gonna run the project. Close this out. Let's minimize this actually. Alright, I'm gonna run my project. Running on the second screen, guys. So if you don't see me clicking, I'm just on the second screen. I'll click OK. Alright. Don't know why this is. I had this fixed. I gotta fix it again, but you get the idea. You can click next, get the next button, go back. You can do true. This shows. Oh, see, this is false. This is correct. You know, it's just a very, very basic concept. Basic. You know, like I said, these tutorials are mainly for people who, you know, mainly to help me and to help people understand Android development. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go over the tools next. The next two chapters are not gonna be code. It's gonna be tools. It's gonna talk about the on-crate method, and it's gonna talk about how to use the logcat. It's gonna talk about debugging as well. So I'm not gonna use the examples in the book. I'm gonna be using some other sources. I'll put it in not only in the description, but you know, also in my blog. So I definitely want you guys to check out my blog. But that's it, actually. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below, and I'll definitely help you out as best as I can. All right, then. Take care.